Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning about the 8th planet in our solar system, Neptune. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. When astronomers first spotted its stunning deep blue color, they fittingly named the planet after the Roman god of the sea, Neptune. This has led many people to assume that this beautiful blue hue comes from a massive deep ocean, liquid water covering the planet's surface, much like the oceans here on Earth. But is it possible for an ocean to exist on a world that's so incredibly cold and far from the sun? What do you think? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Today's word is cryovolcanism. That's cryovolcanism. Cryovolcano is a type of volcano that erupts icy materials like water, ammonia, or methane instead of the molten rock we're used to here on Earth. The name itself actually gives us some clues about the meaning. It comes from the Greek word cryos, meaning cold or frost, and volcanism, which is referring to volcanoes. So cryovolcano is literally an ice volcano. The phenomenon occurs on icy moons and other celestial objects with frigid temperatures, most notably on Neptune's largest moon, Triton. Instead of hot magma, these volcanoes are fueled by subsurface heat that causes ice and other frozen compounds to melt and expand. This pressure builds up until it bursts through the surface in a powerful plume, shooting ice particles high into the moon's thin atmosphere before they freeze and fall back down like snow. It's just amazing the different types of geological activity that can happen even in the coldest corners of our solar system. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about Neptune. Number 1. Neptune is the windiest planet in our solar system, with supersonic winds that can roar at more than 1,200 miles per hour. The winds on Neptune are more than 3 times stronger than the most powerful hurricanes ever recorded on Earth. These incredible speeds are so fast they break the sound barrier, creating sonic booms that would be deafening if you could somehow survive the planet's crushing atmosphere. Scientists were shocked when NASA's Voyager 2 spacecraft flew by in 1989 and measured these extreme wind speeds, which whip clouds of frozen methane across the planet in massive swirling storms. One of these storms, dubbed the Great Dark Spot, was a massive hurricane system the size of our entire planet. What makes this especially puzzling is that Neptune is the farthest planet from the sun, so it receives very little solar energy to power its weather. Scientists believe that Neptune has a strong internal heat source radiating more than twice the energy it gets from the sun, which helps fuel these ferocious winds. The planet's rapid rotation and low friction in its frigid, gassy atmosphere also likely contribute, allowing the winds to build up to their incredible supersonic speeds without anything to slow them down. Number 2. Neptune wasn't discovered through a telescope. It's the only planet that was discovered through math, and then it was confirmed through the telescope. In the early 1840s, astronomers noticed something strange about the planet Uranus. Its orbit was wobbly, and it wasn't moving exactly as their calculations predicted it should. The brilliant French mathematician Urbain Le Verrier proposed the gravitational pull of a mysterious, unseen planet must be tugging on Uranus, causing these irregularities. At the same time, a young British astronomer named John Couch Adams was independently making the same calculations. They were in a silent race to pinpoint the location of this ghost planet. Leverrier finished his calculations first and sent them to the Berlin Observatory in September of 1846. He confidently told the astronomer Johann Galle where to point his telescope, and on the very first night of searching, Galle spotted Neptune less than 1 degree away from Leverrier's predicted position. This was a monumental achievement for science and a stunning confirmation of Newton's law of universal gravitation. It proved that with the power of mathematics, we could discover new worlds without ever having to see them first. Number 3. A year on Neptune lasts for 165 Earth years, but a day is only about 16 hours long. Because Neptune is so far from the Sun, it has a massive orbit to complete. It travels more than 2.8 billion miles from the Sun on its long journey. Since its discovery in 1846, the planet has only completed one full orbit, which it finished back in 2011. This means that if you were born on Neptune, you would have to wait 165 Earth years just to celebrate your first birthday. Although the orbit is extremely long, Neptune spins on its axis very quickly. A day on Neptune flashes by in just 16 Earth hours. As a gas giant, the planet doesn't have a solid surface and actually rotates at different speeds at different parts of its atmosphere. The 16-hour day is the average rotation of its interior. This rapid spin is a key factor that contributes to the planet's dynamic weather, including those super fast winds. Number 4. Neptune's largest moon, Triton, orbits the planet backwards, and it's one of the coldest known objects in the solar system. Most large moons in our solar system orbit their planet in the same direction that the planet rotates, which is called a prograde orbit. Triton, though, is a rebel. It has a retrograde orbit, meaning it travels the opposite direction of Neptune's spin. This is a major clue that Triton wasn't formed with Neptune, but it was likely a dwarf planet similar to Pluto, and Triton was probably captured by Neptune's powerful gravity millions of years ago. Triton is also one of the most frigid places ever measured, with surface temperatures plummeting to around negative 391 degrees Fahrenheit, or negative 235 Celsius. Despite this intense cold, Triton is geologically active, featuring cryovolcanoes. These ice volcanoes erupt plumes of frozen nitrogen and dark dust miles into the sky. Its surface is a bizarre landscape of frozen nitrogen, water ice, and a pinkish tint caused by methane ice being irradiated by the sun. And our fifth and final fun fact for today, Neptune has a wild, lopsided magnetic field that is dramatically tilted and not even centered in the planet. On Earth, our magnetic field is pretty stable. It's roughly aligned with our planet's spin, so a compass will reliably point north. Neptune's magnetic field, though, is a chaotic mess. It's tilted by about 47 degrees relative to the planet's rotation. This means that if you stand on Neptune with a compass, the needle won't point north. It would point somewhere near the planet's equator. To make it even stranger, the magnetic field is also slightly offset, meaning it doesn't even originate from the planet's physical center. It's offset by about 8,500 miles, or more than half the planet's radius. Scientists believe this is because Neptune's magnetic field isn't generated by a solid core like Earth's. Instead, it's likely generated by a moving, slushy ocean of super-pressurized water and ammonia, which creates this bizarre, wobbly, and off-kilter field. Now for some news you can use. I've talked about Neptune's atmosphere being made of different layers of gases, ices, and liquids. Here's a fun bit of kitchen science you can try at home, making your own ice giant in a jar. It's a classic density column, and it shows how different liquids, just like different gases, will stack themselves up based on how heavy they are. To start with, grab a tall, clear glass or a jar and slowly pour in different liquids one at a time. You might start with honey, then dish soap, then water. You could add a little blue food coloring to make it look like Neptune. And finally, some vegetable oil. If you pour them slowly and carefully, you'll see them form distinct layers instead of mixing, with the heaviest, most dense liquids at the bottom and the lightest at the top. So why don't they mix? It's all about the density. Density is simply a measure of how much stuff or mass is packed into a certain amount of space. In our jar, the honey is the most dense. It's heavier for its size than the dish soap. The dish soap is heavier than the water, and the oil is the lightest or least dense of all. Gravity pulls the densest, heaviest liquids to the bottom, forcing the lighter, less dense liquids to float at the top. This is actually a fantastic model for how entire planets are built. Scientists use this exact principle called planetary differentiation to understand what's inside planets they can't visit. When our solar system was forming, planets were hot, molten, and messy. Just like in your jar, the heaviest, densest materials, like the iron and nickel on Earth, sank straight to the center and formed the core. The lighter materials, like rock, water, and gas, floated towards the top, forming the mantle, crust, and atmosphere. When you look at your layered jar, you're seeing the same physics that built Neptune, and all the other planets. It's how scientists know Neptune has a small, dense, rocky core at its very center, surrounded by a heavy mantle of those ices, all wrapped in the light, gassy atmosphere on top. It's a perfect example of how the universe loves to sort itself out. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked if Neptune's deep blue color comes from a giant ocean of liquid water on the surface. Well, this one's a fallacy. It's a fairly common misconception, but that beautiful blue color isn't from water. Neptune's atmosphere is made of hydrogen, helium, and a small amount of methane gas. This methane gas is actually the real source of that blue hue. It's excellent at absorbing red light from the sun and reflecting the blue wavelengths of light back out into space, which is why we see the planet as a brilliant deep blue. While Neptune doesn't have a surface ocean, it is considered an ice giant for a reason. Scientists believe that deep beneath its gassy clouds, there's a super hot, incredibly dense mantle of ices like water, methane, and ammonia. This isn't ice like we have on Earth, though. Rather, it's a strange, slushy mixture under extreme pressure. So, while Neptune is named for the god of the sea, its color is really just a beautiful atmospheric trick. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about Neptune with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.